Hello everybody and welcome to another video. This video will be about food intolerances and sensitivities. I'll give you guys a little bit of the background and then I'll show you the results that I had from my food intolerance test when I did it, and I'll give you an idea of whether or not I like the test and how I've adapted following my results. Basically, I would say about 8 months ago, I started noticing that food was causing me issues sometimes. So when I was meal prepping, most of the time I was fine, but sometimes I wasn't. And when I was eating out, I almost always bloated really badly. And when I say really badly, I mean I genuinely looked 4 or 5 months pregnant. I was really uncomfortable, my stomach would be rock hard, and I wouldn't really want to exercise. I felt just really lethargic and just unhappy. Like, it really affected me. So I really wanted to know what it was. At first I thought it was wheat, because whenever I'd be eating kind of out, I would be eating buns or, like a little bit of bread on the side. So I thought maybe I was having an allergy to wheat. And if you guys have been watching my vlogs, then you know that I tried to start cutting wheat out mostly in December. When I came back from my US trip in January, I came back at the beginning of February, but the trip itself was in January. I had actually not eaten wheat for over a month. I'd stayed gluten-free more or less, and I was still bloating. I was still uncomfortable. There were days where I was okay, and there were days where I was just in a lot of pain. And when I came back from the US, I was particularly pissed off because I had followed the diet pretty strictly and still not been okay. So I went to see my doctor, who I had actually seen a little bit earlier, and he had recommended that I do this food intolerance test. And I went ahead and I did it, and these were my results. So it comes up, so if you've not seen one of these tests before, it kind of comes up with what you are highly intolerant to and should, kind of immediately cut out. And then an in-between section where these are things that you do react to and you should consider cutting out, and then things that you are fine with. My highly reactive ones are all milk. So cow's milk, goat milk, sheep milk, and egg white was a surprise for me because I love eating eggs. The things that came afterwards and the things that surprised me the most were corn, sunflower seed, pistachio, wheat, brewer's yeast, gluten, potato. That's up to 50 on the list, so those are the things that I am most highly reactive to. So wheat is on there, but what is on there as well is things like corn and sunflower seeds and pistachios that it had never even crossed my mind that these would be things that I would react to. So I started cutting everything out. I literally was like, okay, everything that I am not allowed to eat, I am going to be really strict with and just cut it out of my diet completely. I've been lactose intolerant since I was 13, so that part was easy. I just was a little bit stricter about asking restaurants and stuff whether or not food had dairy in it, but by and large, I don't eat dairy anyway. So that one was simple, but cutting out corn and sunflower seeds was more difficult because a lot of people cook with either corn oil or sunflower oil, and obviously in a lot of restaurants they use cornstarch to thicken up soups and curries and food and stuff like that. The other thing that was really hard for me to cut out completely was wheat, because I was substituting it earlier with some gluten-free products, but a lot of gluten-free products use corn flour as a substitute for wheat, and I could no longer do that. So I was getting really frustrated. You guys might have seen on my Instagram that I started making my own bread, and I make some spelt bread, and I'll show you guys a picture here somewhere. And I did try and find some things to kind of tide me over, but I was really depressed during that time period. I was really upset. I didn't feel any better. I think my body was still getting rid of the toxins, and I was just stressing out so much over it. It was all that was consuming my time. I was like, I can't eat this, I can't eat this. And I was not in a good place as a result of it. A few weeks ago, I went to Italy. Hopefully you guys have been seeing my Italian vlogs and enjoying those. And while I was there, I had by the time I got there, I had already been cutting everything out of my diet for over 6 weeks. So the best kind of thing to do with this, in my opinion, and most doctors will say the same, is an elimination diet. But I had eliminated everything. I hadn't just eliminated one or two things, which is, you know, one of the ways that you would find out what you are intolerant to exactly. So while I knew that I wasn't eating anything that I was intolerant to and I was no longer bloating, I also still didn't know what I was reacting badly to. Which one of these things is actually causing me to bloat? Which one of these things is actually causing me to feel really lethargic and really uncomfortable and really unhappy? So while I was in Italy, because it was Italy, I decided to start eating wheat again. But I was incorporating it into my diet in really small portions, and I was ensuring that everything that I ate was freshly made. So I didn't want any bread from the supermarket or anything like that which would have any other additives or preservatives. It would all be stuff that was freshly made, and a lot of the time in pizzerias in Italy, which are wonderful, they would just be making the dough straight from scratch right in front of me. And I discovered, to my surprise, that wheat was not the thing that was triggering me the most. I still can't eat huge portions of it, and if I do bloat, but it was not actually causing me the severe bloating and the uncomfortableness and the cramps that I was getting before. However, what was corn and sunflower oils and those things, in my food as well. So those are the things that I have continued to cut out and be really strict about, as well as dairy, and I feel so much better. I've been doing it now for a month and my body is completely different. I feel completely different. I finally got an energy again. I'm exercising again. I'm really, really happy with my workouts. I was getting to a point where you guys will have noticed if you watch my vlogs that at the beginning I was doing quite a lot of like exercise in my videos, and I would show you that I'd be working out or whatever, and then as of late that's kind of dropped off a little bit because I haven't been exercising that much. I have been exercising maybe once or twice a week, so it's not like it's disappeared completely, but I was exercising 5 or 6 times a week, so that just wasn't coming across to you guys because it wasn't happening that much in my own life. In the past week alone, I have done 5 workouts, and I'll be doing my 6th one today. I'm really, really happy with my current workout routine and just overall feel really, really good and really strong. So just personally, my opinion on this test is that it is useful because while I had been monitoring my food, I'd had a food diary, I'd been looking at what I was eating, I didn't recognize that sunflower oil or corn oil and those food groups in general could be triggering me. I just didn't know because it's such a minor thing in terms of, like, I mean, when you're going to record something, when you go out to a restaurant, you'd be like, okay, so I had, you know, a burger with that had lamb in it, that had this in it, that had that in it, and you wouldn't necessarily think about what oil they cooked with. So I would suggest, if you are feeling really uncomfortable, if you've already tried an elimination diet, and if that hasn't worked, I would suggest doing the test. And then I would suggest really looking into what is actually triggering you, and like I did, either eliminating things and then slowly reintroducing, or slowly eliminating things one by one to figure out what it is that is triggering you. Because the whole list of everything that's on there, I don't actually need to cut out, and I've noticed that when I eat them, I feel just fine. So the test is kind of take with a pinch of salt, in the sense that don't stick to it too rigidly, because I think that chances are you're going to feel really unhappy if you do. I did. But do find out what it is, do use it to find out what it is that is triggering you so badly if you are feeling triggered. Please, let's continue the conversation down in the comments. If there's anything you would like to know about my own food intolerances and sensitivities, I would be happy to share. And if you want to share your stories or ask me any questions, we can do that too. I will see you next time. Bye.